Your life has a purpose far greater than merely existing. Look around you. In this very moment, some people are merely occupying space, while others are becoming indispensable. The difference isn't luck or circumstance. It's a decision to become so valuable that the world cannot afford to ignore you. I stand before you today with one mission: to ignite within you the understanding that you were designed for significance. Mediocrity is not your destiny. Invisibility is not your fate. You were created to stand out, to make an impact so profound that your absence would leave a gaping hole in the fabric of humanity. The question isn't whether you have value. The question is whether you will manifest that value so powerfully that you become irreplaceable. This is not about ego or acclaim. This is about fulfilling the purpose for which you were born. This is about becoming so excellent at what you do that your contribution becomes essential to the welfare of others. Right now, at this very moment, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to a life of quiet desperation, of always wondering, what if? The other path, the path I'm challenging you to take, leads to a life of impact, influence, and irrefutable value. The choice is yours, but I believe you were born for greatness. We live in a world of mass production, even of people. Educational systems process students like factories. Workplaces treat employees as interchangeable parts. Media portrays success as a one-size-fits-all formula. Is it any wonder that so many people feel disposable, replaceable, and ignored? Look around you. Millions wake up each morning to jobs they endure rather than purposes they fulfill. They punch time clocks, counting minutes until freedom, trading the precious currency of their lives for paychecks that sustain their existence but not their dreams. They live for weekends and vacations, brief escapes from lives that should instead be embraced with passion. This is the crisis of our time. Not that we fail, but that we settle for so much less than what we could be. We have normalized mediocrity. We have made average acceptable. We celebrate getting by rather than standing out. But inside each person is a seed of greatness, waiting to be cultivated. Inside you is potential begging to be developed. The tragedy I see daily isn't that people fail to succeed. It's that they fail to even try to be exceptional. Society has sold you a devastating lie that you are ordinary, that standing out is arrogant, that being replaceable is humble. Nothing could be further from the truth. True humility isn't diminishing your capabilities. It's fully embracing them while recognizing their source and purpose. The world doesn't need more average people doing average things with average effort. The challenges we face in our communities, our nations, our world demand individuals who refuse to be ignored because their value is too significant to dismiss. What does it mean to be valuable? Is it about wealth, position, fame? No. These are often merely the byproducts of value, not value itself. True value lies in your unique ability to contribute something meaningful that improves the lives of others. Value is measured by the problems you solve, the needs you meet, the improvements you make. A valuable person doesn't just take up space, they enhance the space they occupy. You see, value isn't something you demand, it's something you demonstrate. It's not declared, it's proven through consistent delivery of excellence that serves others. The marketplace of life doesn't respond to your opinion of yourself, but to the objective contribution you make. Many people misunderstand value. They try to become valuable by imitating others, by following trends, by chasing what's popular. But true value emerges when you discover what makes you distinct and develop that distinction to its highest potential. Value isn't about comparison, being better than someone else. It's about contribution, being the best version of yourself possible. When you focus on competing with others, you merely become a second-rate version of someone else. But when you focus on competing with yourself, on growing, improving, and maximizing your unique abilities, you become a first-rate version of you. And that version is irreplaceable. The currency of value isn't money, it's impact. Some of the most valuable people in history died with little material wealth, but left legacies of impact that continue to enrich lives centuries later. They became too valuable to be forgotten, too significant to be erased from memory. Your value doesn't diminish during difficulty. In fact, challenges often reveal your true worth. Anyone can appear valuable when everything is going well. It's during the storms of life that truly valuable people shine brightest, providing solutions, stability, and strength when they need it most. Every person born into this world arrives with a unique set of gifts, talents, perspectives, and abilities. Like fingerprints, no two people's potential contributions are identical. Your value proposition begins with discovering what makes you uniquely able to serve. Many live their entire lives without ever discovering their true gifts. They conform to expectations, follow prescribed paths, and suppress their natural abilities to fit into systems designed for the average. What a tragedy. It's like having a priceless treasure buried in your backyard, but living in poverty because you never bothered to dig. Self-discovery is not self-indulgence, it's self-investment. Taking time to identify your natural strengths isn't selfish. It's the first step toward offering your greatest service to humanity. How can you contribute at your highest level if you don't know what you have to offer? Your unique contribution lies at the intersection of three elements: what you're naturally good at, what you're passionate about, and what meets a need in the world. When these three align, you've discovered your zone of maximum value. Look at your life patterns. What activities energize rather than drain you? When do you lose track of time because you're so engaged? What problems do you solve instinctively, almost without thinking? What do others consistently affirm in you? These are clues pointing toward your unique contribution. Don't make the mistake of undervaluing your natural abilities simply because they come easily to you. We often discount our greatest gifts precisely because they feel effortless. Surely we think something so natural to me can't be that valuable. But that effortlessness is exactly what makes it your unique offering. What comes naturally to you may be extremely difficult for others. Your life experiences, even the painful ones, have equipped you with insights and understanding that no one else possesses in quite the same way. The challenges you've overcome, the obstacles you've navigated, the unique perspective you've gained, these aren't random occurrences. They're preparation for your distinct contribution. The world doesn't need another impersonator. It needs your authentic self, fully developed and courageously expressed. Being a poor imitation of someone else may get you noticed temporarily, but becoming the fullest expression of your unique design will make you too valuable to ignore permanently. Potential is not performance. Having natural abilities is just the starting point, the raw material from which value is crafted through deliberate development. Every person born has potential, but not every person develops it. Undeveloped potential is the graveyard of possibility. Visit any cemetery and you'll find buried there unwritten books, unstarted businesses, uninvented technologies, uncomposed symphonies, potential that people carry to their graves without ever developing. I refuse to let that be your story. Your potential must be converted into performance through consistent, purposeful development. Potential doesn't automatically become reality. It must be cultivated, challenged, and expanded. The gap between what you are and what you could be is your greatest opportunity. Most people vastly underestimate their capacity for growth. They accept their current limitations as permanent boundaries rather than temporary limitations to be overcome. Growth isn't automatic, it's intentional. It doesn't happen while you're busy making other plans. It happens when you make it the plan. The most valuable people in any field are those who dedicate themselves to continuous improvement, who never stop learning, who remain eternally curious. Develop disciplines that support your growth. Early rising to study before others awake. Reading voraciously in your field and beyond it. Seeking mentors who challenge your thinking. Practicing deliberately rather than casually. These aren't merely good habits. They are value-building investments. The quality of your development determines the ceiling of your value. Casual development produces casual value. Intensive development produces intensive value. The marketplace rewards those who have paid the price of excellence in private before demanding recognition in public. Set standards for yourself higher than anyone would set for you. Most people work just hard enough not to get fired and are polite enough not to be disliked. This is the recipe for mediocrity. Valuable people set internal standards that far exceed external requirements. Develop not just your primary strengths, but complementary abilities that enhance them. A gifted speaker who also understands psychology becomes more valuable. A talented musician who also comprehends business becomes more impactful. A skilled technician who also masters communication becomes irreplaceable. Embrace the discomfort of growth. Development happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not within it. The temporary pain of stretching your capabilities produces the permanent gain of increased value. The most valuable people aren't those who avoid difficulty. They're those who use difficulty as a catalyst for development. Your potential is not a destination, it's a moving target. As you grow, your capacity expands. What you thought was your limit becomes your new starting point. This is why the truly valuable never stop developing. They recognize that potential is not static but ever increasing with each new level of growth. Skills may make you successful, but character makes you valuable. In a world where competence is increasingly common, character becomes the great differentiator. Technical abilities can be replicated, integrity cannot. Excellence isn't just what you do, it's who you are. It's the quality that permeates every dimension of your life. Valuable people don't compartmentalize excellence, performing well only when the stakes are high. They build it into the fabric of their being, demonstrating it even in small, unseen moments. Integrity, being the same person in every situation, creates trust. And trust is the foundation of all lasting value. Without it, skills become suspect, talents become threatening, and abilities become liabilities. With it, even moderate competence becomes remarkably valuable. Discipline determines destiny. The daily decisions that no one sees ultimately create the life everyone does see. Valuable people understand that momentary pleasures pale in comparison to the lasting satisfaction of knowing you've done what you should, when you should, how you should, whether anyone is watching or not. Consistency compounds over time. Small excellences repeated daily eventually create enormous value. The most valuable people aren't those who occasionally perform spectacularly, but those who consistently perform excellently. They understand that reliability is itself a rare and precious form of value. Patience in development separates the truly valuable from the merely ambitious. Impatience leads to shortcuts, and shortcuts undermine character. The willingness to pay the full price for excellence, to take the time required for mastery, to delay gratification while building substance. These character qualities create unassailable value. Humility doesn't diminish your value, it enhances it. The most valuable people are often the most teachable. They remain receptive to feedback, eager to improve, and aware of their limitations, even while confidently exercising their strengths. They don't diminish their abilities. They simply maintain perspective about them. Your character creates the ceiling of your influence. People may be impressed by your talents, but they're impacted by your character. Skills might get you in the door, but character keeps you in the room. In a world of increasing specialization, character remains the ultimate transferable value. The greatest secret to becoming valuable is so simple, many miss it entirely. To be valuable, provide value. The path to becoming indispensable is through serving others so effectively they wouldn't want to do without your contribution. Service is not servitude. It's not diminishing yourself or becoming a doormat. True service comes from a position of strength and capability offered by choice rather than compulsion. The most valuable people serve not from weakness, but from the overflow of their developed strengths. The quality of your service determines the extent of your value. Casual service creates disposable value. Exceptional service creates indispensable value. The difference lies not just in what you do, but in how thoroughly, how consistently, and how excellently you do it. Focus on solving problems, not just performing tasks. Anyone can follow instructions and complete assignments. Valuable people anticipate needs, identify underlying issues, and provide solutions before they even asked. They don't just do what they're told, they do what's needed. Expand your service radius. The more people you can serve effectively, the more valuable you become. This doesn't always mean serving more people directly. Sometimes it means serving those who serve many, creating a multiplier effect for your value. Serve the whole person, not just their immediate need. Transactional service addresses only what's requested. Transformational service considers the broader context, the longer-term implications, the deeper needs behind the stated ones. This comprehensive approach creates value that transcends the momentary and becomes enduring. The manner of your service magnifies its impact. Serving grudgingly diminishes value. Serving joyfully multiplies it. Your attitude while serving often creates as much value as the service itself. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget exactly what you did. True service requires genuine concern. You cannot fake caring and create lasting value. The most valuable people in any organization are often those who genuinely care about its mission and the people it serves. This authentic concern translates into attention to details, willingness to go beyond requirements, and consistent excellence that makes them too valuable to ignore. Understand that service is reciprocal, not sacrificial. When you create genuine value for others, value returns to you, often multiplied. This isn't manipulation, it's a natural law of reciprocity. By focusing sincerely on meeting others' needs rather than demanding recognition of your own worth, you paradoxically establish that worth beyond question. The path to becoming too valuable to ignore is not without obstacles. Understanding these challenges is essential to overcoming them. Fear of inadequacy prevents many from even attempting to become valuable. They focus on what they lack rather than developing what they have. Remember, value isn't created by focusing on your weaknesses, but by maximizing your strengths. You don't need to be great at everything. Complacency is the enemy of increasing value. Many people reach a level of competence that keeps them employed, but fall far short of the excellence that would make them exceptional. They compare themselves to average performers rather than to their own potential, creating an artificial ceiling on their value. Impatience derails the development of many potentially valuable people. They want the recognition before they've created the value to warrant it. True value isn't microwaved. It's slow cooked. It develops through consistent effort over time, gradually building until it becomes undeniable. Rejection often discourages those on the path to value. Not everyone will immediately recognize what you offer. Some of the most valuable contributions in history were initially dismissed or underappreciated. Persistence through periods of undervaluation is essential to eventually becoming too valuable to ignore. The opinions of others can be particularly challenging obstacles. Well-meaning people may discourage you from developing your unique contribution, urging you instead toward more conventional paths. Remember, conventional thinking produces conventional value. Extraordinary value often requires unconventional approaches. Past failures haunt many, preventing them from fully developing their potential. They allow previous disappointments to define future possibilities. The most valuable people use failure as education, not definition. They extract the lesson while discarding the limitation, becoming more valuable precisely because of what their failures have taught them. Environmental limitations, lack of resources, connections, or opportunities can seem insurmountable. But valuable people don't wait for ideal circumstances. They maximize whatever circumstances they have. Some of the most valuable innovations have emerged from the most severe limitations precisely because necessity drove creative problem solving. Develop resilience as your response to every obstacle. Resilience isn't just enduring difficulty. It's using difficulty to develop greater capacity. Each obstacle overcome doesn't just get you past that specific challenge. It develops muscles for even greater challenges ahead, continuously increasing your value in the process. When you become too valuable to ignore, everything changes. Not just for you, but for everyone your life touches. Opportunities seek you out rather than you seeking them. When you've developed genuine value, you no longer need to pound on doors of opportunity. People open doors specifically to invite you in. Your challenge shifts from finding opportunities to selecting the right ones from among many. Your influence expands naturally. Value creates authority, not positional authority that requires titles, but personal authority that comes from demonstrated excellence. People listen to those they find valuable. They implement their suggestions. They follow their lead, not from compulsion, but from recognition of the benefit of doing so. Resources gravitate toward value, whether those resources are financial investments, human talent, or institutional support. They flow toward those who have proven their ability to create significant returns. Becoming valuable doesn't guarantee wealth, but it certainly increases the likelihood of attracting the resources necessary for impact. Your perspective shifts from scarcity to abundance. When you know you create genuine value, you no longer fear being replaced or overlooked. You recognize that your worth isn't determined by external validation, but by the objective reality of your contribution. This security frees you to collaborate rather than compete, to elevate others rather than fear them. Your confidence solidifies, not the false confidence of arrogance, but the genuine confidence that comes from demonstrated capability. You no longer question whether you can deliver value. You know you can because you consistently have. This authentic confidence becomes magnetic, attracting both opportunities and allies to your mission. Decision-making becomes clearer and more purposeful. When you know your value and purpose, you gain a filtering system for life's infinite choices. You evaluate options not just by what they might give you, but by whether they allow you to maximize your unique contribution. This clarity eliminates much of the confusion and vacillation that paralyzes the merely ambitious. Your capacity to navigate change increases dramatically. Valuable people don't fear disruption because they know their worth transcends specific environments, technologies, or trends. They adapt quickly because they're focused on the fundamental value they provide, not just the current method of providing it. While others resist change to protect their position, the truly valuable embrace it as a chance to demonstrate their adaptability. Relationships transform from transactional to transformational. When you consistently deliver exceptional value, interactions shift from what others can do for you to what you can accomplish together. People no longer engage with you merely for what they can get, but for who they become through the association. Your presence in their lives becomes valuable not just for what you provide, but for how you inspire them to grow. You develop immunity to manipulation and control. Those who doubt their own value are easily exploited by praise, easily crushed by criticism, and easily controlled by the opinions of others. But when you know objectively that you create significant value, you become liberated from these external validations. You can receive feedback without being defined by it, appreciate recognition without requiring it, and maintain your direction. Your creativity accelerates because it's properly channeled. Many potentially valuable people scatter their creative energy across too many domains, never developing the focused excellence that creates maximum impact. But when you clarify your unique value proposition, creativity becomes concentrated rather than diffused, flowing powerfully toward innovative solutions within your area of greatest contribution. You experience synchronicity more frequently, those coincidental alignments of opportunity, preparation, and timing that seem almost orchestrated. This isn't mystical, it's practical. When you're consistently creating and demonstrating value, you're naturally positioned to recognize and capitalize on opportunities that others might miss entirely or be unprepared to seize. Your legacy becomes assured. The impact of truly valuable people outlives them. Their influence continues through those they've served, taught, mentored, and inspired. They create ripples that become waves, affecting generations beyond their direct reach. The organizations you serve are transformed. One truly valuable person can elevate the performance of an entire team, department, or company. Their standards become the new normal. Their example inspires others to greater excellence. Their productivity challenges outdated systems and processes. Most importantly, you fulfill the purpose for which you were designed. There is no satisfaction quite like knowing you've become what you were meant to be, that you've maximized the potential entrusted to you, that you've created value that has made life better for others. The world is waiting for you to become too valuable to ignore. Not just for what that will mean for you, but for what it will mean for all those who need precisely the value that only you can create. Right now, someone needs the solution you can provide. Right now, a problem persists because the person designed to solve it, you, hasn't yet developed or deployed their unique value. Right now, a need goes unmet because the value you were meant to create remains undeveloped potential rather than demonstrated performance. I challenge you, make the decision today that mediocrity will never again be acceptable in your life. Decide that you will no longer compare yourself to average performers, but only to your own extraordinary potential. Commit to the disciplines of development that transform native abilities into exceptional value. Begin where you are with what you have. Don't wait for perfect circumstances, complete knowledge, or total confidence. The journey to becoming too valuable to ignore starts with a single step of excellent service, a single instance of problem solving, a single moment of using your gifts to meet someone else's need. Remember that becoming valuable isn't an event, it's a process. It doesn't happen in a moment of inspiration, but through thousands of decisions to choose excellence when mediocrity would be easier. Every such decision builds the habit of value creation that eventually makes you indispensable. Surround yourself with others who are committed to becoming valuable. Environment influences achievement more than most realize. When you place yourself among those who are stretching, growing, and creating exceptional value, you naturally elevate your own standards. Their example becomes your new normal. Their challenges spark your creativity. Their success fuels your belief in what's possible. Document your journey of value creation. Keep records of problems solved, contributions made, skills developed, and lives impacted. This isn't for ego gratification, but for objective assessment. These tangible reminders will sustain you during inevitable periods of doubt and provide concrete evidence of your growing value when opportunities for advancement arise. Remain open to redefining how your value is expressed. The specific form of your contribution may evolve as you grow, as needs change, and as you gain deeper insight into your unique design. What remains constant is not the external expression, but the internal commitment to excellence and service that makes you valuable in any context. Your life matters too much for you to live it unnoticed. Your potential is too great for you to leave it undeveloped. Your purpose is too important for you to remain unknown. You were designed to create specific value that no one else can offer in quite the same way. The question isn't whether you have value. The question is whether you will manifest that value so powerfully that you become irreplaceable. This is not about ego or acclaim. This is about fulfilling the purpose for which you exist. I believe in you. I see in you potential that perhaps even you don't fully recognize yet. But more importantly than my belief in you is the reality within you. Capabilities waiting to be developed, value waiting to be created, impact waiting to be made. The world needs your unique contribution. The time for holding back is over. The time for hesitation has passed. The time for becoming too valuable to ignore is now. Rise up and become who you were born to be.